Imagine this. It's 11:47 p.m. You're sitting at home, maybe watching TV, maybe scrolling your phone, and then, without warning, everything goes dark. Not just your house, the whole street, the whole neighborhood. Every light, every hum, every signal, gone. You sit there for a moment thinking it'll come back. It always comes back. But this time, it doesn't. And in that silence, something shifts. Because right now, as you're watching this, you are exactly 3 days away from total societal breakdown, and most people have absolutely no idea. No grocery stores, no gas stations, no running water. Just you, your family, and whatever you prepared before the lights went out. In this video, we're breaking down the 9 essential rules that separate the survivors from the statistics when the power grid fails. We're talking about how to secure water before your taps run dry, how to keep your family fed and warm without electricity, how to protect your home when desperation starts turning neighbors into threats, and the single most important decision you'll face if the outage stretches past day 3. Most people get that one catastrophically wrong. We'll tell you exactly what to do instead. Stay with us until the end. This information could one day be the difference between your family making it through or not. Welcome to Crisis Horizon. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button right now and drop a like on this video. We put out content that genuinely prepares you for the moments that matter most. Now, let's get into it. Here's something that most people don't fully grasp until it's too late. The first 60 minutes of a blackout are the most important 60 minutes of the entire crisis. What you do or fail to do in that window sets the tone for everything that follows. And the very first thing, the action you need to take within the first 3 minutes, has nothing to do with food or water or security. It has everything to do with light. This might sound obvious, grab a flashlight, right? But what we're talking about goes much deeper than that. When darkness hits unexpectedly, something primal kicks in. Panic. Not just in children, but in adults. Your heart rate climbs, your decision-making degrades, and the people around you look to whoever seems most in control. That person needs to be you. And the fastest way to establish control in a crisis is to be the one who brings the light. Keep a reliable flashlight within arm's reach at all times, not buried in a drawer, not in the garage, within arm's reach. That's your command light. From there, your next move is to set up battery-powered lanterns in the key rooms of your home: the living room, the kitchen, the main bedroom. Glow sticks work brilliantly in bathrooms because they're waterproof and last for hours without any batteries at all. But here's the part that most survival guides skip entirely. Once your interior is lit, you need to control what the outside world can see. Draw every curtain, close every blind, black out your windows. Because a home that's glowing warmly in a dark neighborhood is not a safe home. It's a beacon. It tells everyone within eyeshot that you have supplies, you have power, and you have things worth taking. We'll talk more about security later in this video, but understand right now, visibility management starts the moment your lights come on. The psychological impact of this cannot be overstated. When you can see clearly while others are stumbling in the dark, you stop being a victim of the situation and start being the person managing it. Your family looks to you. You stay calm, and calm is contagious. Now, with your lighting secured, your very next priority is water, and the window you have to act is terrifyingly short. Most people assume that if the power goes out, water still flows, and for a few hours they'd be right. But water treatment facilities run on electricity. Pumping stations run on electricity. The pressure that pushes water through your pipes runs on electricity. Within 6 to 12 hours of a widespread grid failure, that pressure begins to drop. Within 24 hours, in many areas, the taps stop running altogether. So the moment you confirm this isn't just a temporary flicker, you move. You fill every bathtub in your home. That's 30 to 50 gallons each. You fill sinks, pots, pitchers, buckets, anything that holds water. You are racing against a clock that most people don't even know is ticking. But collecting water is only half the job. The other half is making sure it's safe to drink. Even tap water can become contaminated as water treatment infrastructure fails, so treat every gallon. Purification tablets are ideal. Unscented household bleach works too. 2 to 3 drops per gallon, let it sit for 30 minutes before drinking. Simple, effective, and potentially life-saving. Beyond what's inside your home, think about what's outside it. Set up buckets and tarps to collect rainwater. And here's one that almost nobody thinks about: your hot water heater. That tank holds between 40 and 80 gallons of water. Before you access it, turn off the intake valve so the supply doesn't get contaminated. That single tank could keep a family of 4 hydrated for weeks. When you do the math, a prepared person can secure over 100 gallons of clean water within the first hour of a blackout. An unprepared person is standing over a dry sink by the next morning, wondering what happened. Plan for at least 1 gallon per person per day for drinking, more if the weather is hot, more if anyone is physically active, more for cooking and hygiene. Never underestimate your consumption, always overestimate your needs. With water secured, you move to food, and this is where a lot of people make a mistake that turns a manageable situation into a medical. Your freezer buys you 24 to 48 hours. But once those windows close, you're not just losing food, you're creating a biological hazard in your kitchen. Warm dairy, old leftovers, anything with mayonnaise, these don't just go bad, they breed bacteria fast. And food poisoning during a crisis, when medical help may be unavailable, is genuinely life-threatening. So the rule is simple: triage your food. Eat the most perishable items first. Cooked leftovers, dairy, meat that's already been prepared. Consume these in the first few hours or discard them. Fresh meats and fish should be cooked immediately if you have the means, or preserved with salt if you don't. Move systematically from what spoils fastest to what lasts longest. For cooking, a portable propane stove with extra fuel canisters is one of the most valuable pieces of emergency equipment you can own. But there is a rule attached to this that is non-negotiable. Never, under any circumstances, use a propane stove, charcoal grill, or any combustion-based cooking device indoors. Carbon monoxide is odorless, colorless, and lethal. It has killed families who were simply trying to stay warm and fed during blackouts. Outdoors only, or in spaces with heavy, direct ventilation. No exceptions. Stock your emergency pantry with canned goods, rice, pasta, dried beans, peanut butter, crackers, and granola bars. Build a 72-hour meal plan before you ever need one. Practice cooking without power while the grid is still on. The time to discover that you forgot to buy a manual can opener is not during a crisis. And don't overlook comfort foods. In high-stress situations, familiar snacks and small treats do something powerful for morale, especially if you have children. Psychological stability is the survival resource just like water or food. Never underestimate it. By the time day 2 arrives and the power is still out, the nature of the emergency has shifted. You've handled the immediate scramble. Now you're playing a longer game. And in this phase, 3 threats rise to the surface that are responsible for more blackout deaths and injuries than almost anything else: temperature, medical failure, and breakdown of personal security. Let's start with temperature, because it kills quietly. Hypothermia doesn't require blizzard conditions. When your home drops below a certain threshold and your body has no way to generate or retain sufficient heat, the process begins gradually. People get sleepy, they stop shivering, they stop thinking clearly, and by the time the danger is obvious, it may already be too late. The key insight here, and this is one that runs completely counter to instinct, is that you should not try to heat your entire home. You will exhaust your resources and still fail. Instead, choose the smallest interior room in your house and make that your thermal sanctuary. Seal the doorways with blankets or plastic sheeting to trap air. Wear multiple layers of clothing, not just one thick jacket. Use emergency bags rated for cold weather conditions. Line the walls and windows with emergency mylar blankets, which reflect your own body heat back into the room. And don't underestimate the warmth of other human bodies. Every person generates roughly 100 watts of heat. In a small sealed room, that adds up fast. Stay together. For additional warmth, heat bricks, stones, or sealed water bottles using your outdoor cooking setup, then bring them inside wrapped in towels. They act as low-tech radiators and can make a meaningful difference through a cold night. When the threat is heat rather than cold, the strategy shifts, but the discipline required is the same. Close every blind and curtain during daylight hours. Cover sun-facing windows with reflective material. Emergency blankets and aluminum foil both work. At night, open windows on opposite sides of your home to create cross-ventilation. Hang wet towels in front of those openings. As air moves through the damp fabric, it drops several degrees before entering your living space. Battery-powered fans multiply this effect dramatically. If you have access to a basement, use it. Underground spaces maintain naturally stable temperatures and can offer genuine relief during extreme heat events. Heat kills more Americans every year than most natural disasters. Take it seriously. Now, medical preparedness. This is the area where a single oversight, one that would be trivial on a normal day, can become catastrophic during an extended outage. Think about prescription medications. Millions of people depend on daily medication to manage conditions that can turn life-threatening without it. The standard advice of keep a 30-day backup supply sounds simple, but it requires deliberate, consistent effort. Rotating stock so nothing expires, maintaining the right storage conditions, and knowing in advance which of your medications require refrigeration. Battery-powered coolers and insulated thermoses with ice packs can preserve temperature-sensitive drugs for far longer than most people realize. Your first aid kit needs to go beyond the basics. Antiseptics, burn gel, pain relievers, anti-diarrhea medication, all critical. If you're in a position to obtain antibiotics through legitimate means, do so and know how to use them correctly. Know how to treat a wound. Know the signs of infection. A cut that goes untreated during a multi-day blackout can become a serious systemic infection faster than you'd expect. Hygiene becomes a medical issue too, not just a comfort issue. Wet wipes, hand sanitizer, toothbrushes, and toothpaste aren't luxuries during a crisis. They're infection prevention. And for waste management, when your toilet stops flushing, you need a plan. Plastic bags lined with sawdust or kitty litter, designated far from your living space, are a work of... This is unglamorous survival reality, but failing to manage it creates serious health risks for everyone in your home. Finally, and this matters more than most people give it credit for, plan for mental health. Stock books, games, art supplies, anything that gives the mind something to do. Boredom and anxiety compound stress in ways that affect decision-making and physical health alike. Routine is stabilizing. Keep one, even when the grid is down. Now let's talk about security, because by day 2, something has changed in the social fabric outside your door. Stores are empty, gas stations are closed. People who didn't prepare are now desperate, and desperation changes behavior in ways that are uncomfortable to acknowledge, but absolutely critical to plan for. History backs this up without exception. During every major extended blackout on record, Hurricane Sandy, the Northeast blackout of 2003, the Texas freeze, crime rates climbed. Not because people are fundamentally bad, but because fear and scarcity strip away the social contracts we normally take for granted. Your first layer of security is your physical perimeter. Reinforce entry points, deadbolts, security bars, manual locks, door braces. These aren't paranoid additions, they're basic deterrents. The goal isn't to turn your home into a fortress. The goal is to make your home a harder target than the one next door, so that anyone looking for an easy opportunity moves on. Your second layer is visibility discipline. A little ambient light from within suggests occupancy, which can actually deter break-ins. But obvious abundance, bright lights, generator noise, visible supplies through uncovered windows, broadcasts the opposite of what you want. Keep it low-key. Your third and most powerful layer is community. A single prepared household is vulnerable. A block of 3 or 4 prepared households watching out for each other is genuinely formidable. Know your neighbors. Build those relationships now before you need them. Encourage preparedness among the people around you. Share information without advertising your own stockpile. In a prolonged crisis, community cohesion is more valuable than almost any physical resource you could stockpile. When you move outside, travel with at least one other person. Vary your routes. Don't discuss your supplies on radio channels or in conversations that might be overheard. And if it serves you, create the impression of a larger group. Vary lighting patterns. Use different voices near open windows. Move between different areas of the house. If you've made it to day 4 and beyond, you are no longer dealing with a temporary disruption. You are dealing with a full-scale infrastructure crisis. And the decisions you face now are fundamentally different from the ones you faced on day 1. They're slower, heavier, and the consequences of getting them wrong are much harder to recover from. This is where resource multiplication becomes your operating philosophy. Every supply you have needs to work harder. Every action you take should serve multiple purposes. This isn't deprivation thinking, it's efficiency thinking, and it starts with energy. Use LED lighting exclusively. It consumes a fraction of the power of traditional bulbs. Hand crank and solar-powered flashlights eliminate battery dependency entirely. When you cook, cook multiple meals at once, because every fuel burn should produce maximum output. Use the heat from cooking to warm water for washing. Use daylight hours for every activity that requires visibility. Cluster tasks together so you're not wasting effort or resources on repeated small actions. Water multiplication follows the same logic. Reuse gray water, the water from washing dishes or bathing, for flushing toilets or watering any food you might be growing. Continue collecting rainwater. If conditions allow, harvest condensation. Every drop is a resource. With food, stretch ingredients as far as they'll go. A single can of tomato sauce can anchor 3 different meals. Seeds can be sprouted in days and provide fresh nutrients when your fresh produce is long gone. This is basic, old-world knowledge that got lost in the convenience of modern life, and it becomes extraordinarily valuable when the supply chain stops. Skills multiply resources too. The ability to repair a piece of equipment, preserve food without refrigeration, treat a wound, or navigate without GPS, these capabilities are worth more than any single item in your stockpile. Learn them before you need them, practice them, and when you share them with the trusted people around you, you multiply the effective capability of your entire community. That community element is worth returning to here, because social multiplication might be the single most powerful survival concept in this entire video. No individual household, no matter how well stocked, can match what a small group of prepared, trusting people can accomplish together. Shared skills, shared resources, shared watch duties, shared morale. This is how human beings have survived every crisis in history. Don't try to go it alone when you don't have to. Now, the hardest conversation. Knowing when to leave. Every survival instinct tells you to stay put. Your home is familiar, your supplies are there, your neighbors know you. Leaving feels like losing. But there is a threshold, and every prepared person needs to define it in advance before the emotional weight of the moment clouds their judgment, where staying becomes more dangerous than going. What does that threshold look like? Think about it in phases. In the first 24 hours, your job is to secure the basics and monitor the situation. By days 2 and 3, you should be tracking how quickly the environment around you is degrading. Are stores being looted? Is violence occurring nearby? Are municipal services completely offline with no indication of...
By days 4 through 7, if the answer to those questions is yes, the calculus of shelter in place versus evacuation has fundamentally changed. The mistake most people make is waiting until they're forced to move. By that point, routes may be congested or dangerous, supplies may be depleted, and the window for safe relocation may have already closed. Your evacuation plan needs to exist long before you need it. That means having a primary route out of your area, a secondary route if the primary is blocked, and a backup that most people wouldn't think to use. Practice them, drive them, know them without GPS. Identify a destination, a relative's home, a pre-agreed meeting point, a shelter with reliable backup power, and communicate this plan to everyone in your group in advance. Your bug-out bag needs to be ready to grab within 60 seconds. What goes in it? Water purification tools, not bottles of water which are too heavy, but filters, tablets, and a collapsible container. A compact shelter, a tent or emergency bivvy, enough calorie-dense food for 72 hours, a first aid kit, your critical medications, and copies of your important documents, a reliable communication device, charged and ready, a source of fire, a light source, and basic tools. Pre-position small caches of supplies along your primary evacuation route if at all possible. A hidden bag at a specific landmark a few miles out could make a decisive difference if you have to leave with less than you planned. And finally, escalate your communication protocol as the situation escalates. Start with text messages and phone calls. Move to radio check-ins with your community network. If the situation becomes severe enough, emergency flares and satellite communicators exist precisely for the moments when every other option has failed. Know when to use them. Don't wait until you're desperate to figure out how they work. The underlying truth of everything in this video is this: survival is not a reaction. It is a decision made in advance. Every rule, every protocol, every strategy we've covered tonight exists to give you one thing: the ability to act with intention when everything around you is falling apart. Because when the lights go out and panic sets in for everyone else, you will already know exactly what to do. Pick 3 of the rules from this video and implement them this week. Test your flashlight setup tonight. Calculate how much water your household would need for 7 days. Cook one meal without using any powered appliances. Find the gaps in your plan now while the stakes are low. Share this video with someone you care about, because preparedness isn't just personal, it's communal. The more people around you who are ready, the safer everyone becomes. This has been Crisis Horizon. Stay prepared, stay sharp, and we'll see you in the next one.